Inside Israel, Scripps News has learned of a new secret unit. It's called NILI, a Hebrew acronym for a biblical phrase that translates to "The Eternal One of Israel will not lie." It was assembled quickly to hunt down terrorists behind Hamas's October 7th attack. Two sources familiar with the development tell Scripps News. Mary Eisen is a former deputy head of Israel's Combat Intelligence Corps.
It's going to be using a variety of capabilities, both in gathering the information and being able afterwards to target all of the different Hamas terrorists, but they're very focused on the top echelon.
Could you tell me more about what their mission is?
As they are right now, ongoing and doing what they're doing, we are not going to share that information. Let them do their job and talk about it after the war.
The name NILI traces back to one of the world's first underground Jewish spy rings, which operated in World War I. Today, NILI's endgame may resemble Operation Wrath of God, a covert assassination program led by the Mossad, Israel's foreign intelligence service. One by one, and over years, Israeli operatives tracked down and killed Palestinians who murdered Israeli athletes at the 1972 Olympic Games in Munich. Scripps News is told this covert unit exists inside the Shin Bet, Israel's domestic intelligence agency, but other agencies will share information that could lead to operations in Palestinian territories or on foreign soil, with no plans of stopping until the last Hamas leader is killed.
This isn't a question of the high moral ground. It's of putting a symmetry between a homicidal terror organization and a country that has lots of warts and pimples, but it really just wants to defend itself against that homicidal terror organization.
The Israel Defense Forces say they and the Shin Bet have killed dozens of officers, from the head of Hamas's aerial array, which directed the paraglider invasion on October 7th, to another planner who led Hamas's military intelligence. It's unclear if NILI was involved. The IDF is also steadily declassifying parts of what it knows, including an assessment that Hamas operates command and control cells under Gaza's Al-Shifa hospital.
Hamas also has an entrance to those terror tunnels from inside the hospital wards.
A U.S. official familiar with the intelligence confirms to Scripps News that the U.S. has long considered the site to be the headquarters of Hamas. What should Israel's calculus be when the onus of keeping civilians safe has ultimately fallen more on them than on Hamas, which uses civilians to hide behind?
So Israel has to make calculations hour by hour, day by day, in how it confronts Hamas on the ground. And that's just a very difficult calculation. But as long as they can substantiate that they have done their due diligence in their decision-making, then they can protect themselves against allegations under international law.
David Sheffer, a former U.S. ambassador at large for war crimes issues, says moral questions lie in complicated life-or-death math.
The moral ambiguity would be, do we risk killing 20 civilians for the sake of killing 15 hardened Hamas militants? What's that calculation? If you really want to inject a moral calculus on this whole thing, what you do is you start with October 7th. What was the morality of the Hamas attack on the Israeli civilian population on October 7th? Where was morality that day?
So far, Israel has shown it's willing to kill civilians in the pursuit of Hamas targets, a mission now supported by that new unit. Sasha Ingber, Scripps News, Washington.